The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media.
Welcome to Hearts of Gold. Today we have Adoriam with us. Hi.
Hello.
Can you tell us about your Girl Scout Gold Award project?
Yes, so my Girl Scout Gold Award project was about the war on birds and how there's been a decreasing population over time. I live in Houston, and over the years, we have seen a big decrease of birds and natural birds that come in Houston, like pigeons, doves, purple martins, and things like that. We've seen a decrease over time because Houston is the second to worst city in America for migratory birds. And I saw how we barely got to see any birds at all in Houston because, one, we have a bustling city. We are growing a lot of infrastructure, and you don't see a lot of nature and wildlife when you're in a very urban area anymore. So it's hard to really get that feel of nature. So yes, my award was to address this and to educate communities, build workshops, make videos, and probably also give resources to my community members to be more bird friendly.
How did you connect with your project to start with?
This all started when I was a part of the agriculture program in my community. I think it was the Glenn Miller Agriculture Program. And through there, I was able to network with other people of color in the agriculture field who want to introduce more minorities into the aspect. And I was very fortunate enough to connect with these people. I was then able to work with Texas Brigades, where I met even more professionals in the sector. And when they educated me on this epidemic, I was like, wow, this is something that I could talk about with Girl Scouts. And this is a perfect opportunity for me to educate more people about this because not a lot of people think about this on a daily basis. It's not a top priority for most, but it is for me. And that's why I want to try to educate people about this project and about why it's important to take care of our birds because it's the only birds that we have.
Can you share some of the pieces that you created as part of your project to do that education?
I got a partnership with the YMCA, the New Bradley YMCA by my house. I partnered with the Glenn Miller Foundation. I work with Girl Scouts, of course. I work with Houston Audubon, where I was able to do workshops. I made videos. I went with Nature Heritage Society. I connected with some people in that organization. And we basically made workshops where we taught to people how to make bird feeders out of pine cones and peanut butter, how to make your own birdhouse out of PVC pipe and leftover materials that you can recycle from everyday use. We told them why it's important to turn off your lights tonight because birds mainly migrate at night. And we also talked about how we lost a third of our bird populations because of these new industrialization motives that's going on in the cities and all over Texas. Because Texas, we have over 6 billion birds migrating through Texas every single year, and we lose a lot of them in urban areas. So that's why it's so important that we probably lower down our lights at night while we try to reduce electricity usage, while you don't want to take your cats outside all the time because they do be contributing to lower populations. Why it's nice to just have a little bird water or bird feeder outside just so we could get more diversity in these communities. I really wanted to push this because birds, they help us travel seeds all across the world. They are a big, diverse aspect when it comes to helping in biodiversity. They eat insects, they might eat other small rodents to help with the life cycle that we need. Birds are very important. So that's why I wanted to make a whole entire big project about it.
What did you learn while you were working on your project about birds that was most surprising?
People have a lot more tendencies than they realize that can affect not only birds, but many animals and creatures as a whole. We use a lot of non-renewable alternatives or fuels on a daily basis that hurt our atmosphere. People throw away billions of water bottles on a yearly basis that is not being renewed, and that can in turn hurt our environment. It goes into oceans, those oceans go into the fish, those fish go into us, and the birds eat those fish. It just goes in a non-ending cycle of how wasteful people can be, and they don't even realize it because it has been normalized. When I was able, I did a quiz. I did a pre-quiz and a post-quiz with every workshop that I did. I wanted to see if people were actually learning what I was teaching them. So when I was looking at my calculations after the post test, so after I did the workshop, people learned increase of birds, like an increase of bird information by a good almost 70%. So where I had a 37% passing rate on the quiz before I did my workshops and before I talked about why I'm doing this, I had close to like almost an 87% increase in that 87% passing rate, 90% passing rate after my workshops. A lot of people, especially American people, they don't realize that what we do on a daily basis that might be normal can hurt our environment. And we only have one environment. We only have one earth. We only have one life. We only have one heart. And whenever we don't take care of what we have, we can lose it. And in real life, we can't get back what we lose. So that's why I wanted to try and express the importance of our waste. And so people can be more cautious of it. We could just be aware. Some people just aren't aware of the bad things that they do, and it's innocent and it's okay. But whenever you get educated on it, you get to be more aware of what you're doing and that we can try and make a better difference step by step.
You mentioned some of the partners that you worked with. How did you connect with them, and how did you interact with the partners and other people on your team?
This was a lot with friends, family, and like I said, when I went to that Glenn Miller program, I met with a lot of Black professionals in the agriculture realm. They let me do presentations at that camp, and they hooked me up with people with Texas Brigades. And right now, I'm actually doing an internship with Texas Brigades where they introduce agriculture to youth. But from there, I was able to meet some wonderful people who knew a lot about birds and who were able to network with me to see if I can meet someone with Houston Audubons. So with Houston Audubons, I was also able to do presentations with them. From Houston Audubons, I met Nature Heritage Society, and that's where I was able to kind of work with them on some of their events. From there, on my own, I went across the street to my YMCA because YMCAs love doing community service. They love serving their community. So I was able to do presentations with them. And it was really all about getting out of my comfort zone and realizing that I have the best shot if I just try. If I could just reach out, be the first to answer, and not use other people. Like, I know I'm usually a very shy person. I usually ask my parents if they could speak adult to adult for someone else. But because it was my project and I felt so passionate about it, I wanted to do it myself so I can really get a feel and a grasp of what I'm doing and that I can express to people why this is so important to me. And I think because I did that and I reached out first and I kept on pushing to do the events I wanted to do, I was able to meet new people and they liked my personality. So they introduced me to other resources that could help me with that. So yes, I was able to work with Glenn Miller Agriculture Camp, Houston Audubons, the YMCA, Nature Heritage Society, also 4W Fishing, Willard Franklin. He really helped me introduce me to a bunch of new people who could help me with my project along the way. Of course, Girl Scouts and Texas Brigades in a way also helped me connect with other people because when I went to that camp, I met good resources that can help me along the way. So yeah, I am so happy and proud of myself for meeting so many new people because when I first started, I didn't think I would get this far. I was already a junior when I started my project. This was the summer of my junior year, going into senior year. And usually girls are already done with their gold award by then. I was a little bit behind, and usually girls go on until the beginning of their senior year and then they're done. So I was kind of worried. I was in a rush because I didn't want this project to go under the rug because I graduated and I wouldn't have qualified anymore. But I'm just glad I had a good support system. I had an amazing gold award mentor, Miss Tracy Simmons. She encouraged me and helped me all along the way. She worked with my schedule even though I was very busy with school, but I am just so grateful that I even got to the point where I was with my project because I wouldn't have been able to do it without my team, my family, my mentor, everyone who helped me along the way. So yes, I was very grateful.
It sounds like you really grew within yourself, especially with those networking and communication skills. How do you think that's going to serve you in your future?
Well, because of my Gold Award, I think I learned what true team networking is and what true team building is. I didn't have the same team on different events all throughout my project. Like when I went to the YMCA, it was just me and my sister, and that's it. When I went to the Glenn Miller Agriculture Camp, it was me and my sister, my mom, my dad, and some of the other mentors who were there. It really taught me how to learn time management, because you realize that people, they really do like to do things last minute. And you just have to work along with that. I had to realize that even though I have a set plan that I've written out in full detail, it's not going to go the same way. It needs to be flexible because things happen and not everything is going to go the way I want it to. And I had to learn that the hard way. So I definitely learned that being flexible with other people's schedules, being flexible with things not going my way is totally normal. It's totally fine. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's good. It's perfect because it works along the plan. I learned this motto from my friend that it'll buff. And when I say it'll buff, things will buff out. I don't have to worry because as long as I know my end goal and I keep striving for what I want to do, it'll all be okay. I was really stretching myself when I did this workshop at the Houston Audubon, and we had to turn off almost 200 to 300 people. I didn't know that many people were going to come, and I was so excited, but I was terrified because I had part of my Girl Scout troop helping me out. I had 2 booths, and I had a tiny little bird sanctuary clubhouse that the Audubon Sanctuary had. So while my team members, they didn't know a lot about birds as me, so I had to teach them last minute about what we're telling these 200 people and their kids when they come by. And we also had to give them breaks because this was 9 hours of work. We were going all day with this. It was all day from maybe, I want to say 8 a.m. to close to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and we were ripping and running. We were going back and forth all over that sanctuary and how to make sure everyone had a break, make sure everyone got to eat, everyone had food, make sure no one passed out because it was hot outside. And I wanted to make sure, more importantly, everyone got the information that I wanted to convey. So that taught me so much about leadership skills, about being flexible, about learning to ask for help because I can't do everything myself. I'm just one person and that's okay. That really taught me what it's like to be a servant leader because at the end of the day, you're a leader not for yourself, but for others. And that's something that I truly learned that day in myself when I did that event.
It sounds like you've had a ton of success during your project. What was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge was trying to meet deadlines. I kept missing deadline after deadline for a good reason, because it turned out even though I was missing my deadlines to submit my Gold Award so I could do this before I graduate, I ended up having to do another workshop. Another opportunity came by and I couldn't miss it because I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I get to do something else when I go to a project and I want to be able to put this on there so more people can hear about this. So that was my biggest challenge. I started in June of last year. Last year was 2022. I started in June of 2022 and I ended in January of 2023. And those were the most stressful months of my life, if I do say so myself. It was all about deadlines. It was about the deadlines of when I did my proposal, how I was going to do my proposal, who could I meet. Okay, and once I had all of the things I need to do, I was also stressing about when I was going to do these presentations. Because although I reached to these people, a lot of the people that helped me, like with Nature Heritage Society and Houston Audubons, I didn't meet them until later along the way. I met people with 4W fishing. I didn't meet them until later in my presentation. Same with YMCA. I didn't get to do that until later in my project timeline. And at first, I had a very short list of where I was going to go. I had a very small contact list of people I can reach out to. So at first, it didn't seem like this was even going to be that big of a project. But after I started doing my presentations, doing my workshops, people connected me and then the puzzle pieces started filling in. I was stressed at first because I didn't want to let myself down, but I also didn't want to let down the other people who helped me along the way. And so I wanted to make sure this is very big. I wanted to make sure this is something that will last for a long time, even after my project is done. So it was all about deadlines for me. It was about deadlines for making the videos, posting the videos, when the workshop was going to happen, me going to the store at Walmart at 10 p.m. because I forgot to get some peanuts for a presentation the day next, getting my tablecloth the day of at Dollar Tree, asking if my friend can come over to help me at my booth, like on the day of, at the Houston Audubon Sanctuary. It was really all about deadlines, but I'm glad I went through it because it did teach me to plan ahead, and I did end up planning ahead later on in life, and it definitely helped me. Those were my biggest challenges, though. They were hard, but they were needed. They were definitely needed.
One of your partners that you've talked about is the Glenn Miller Ag Conservation Group. And my understanding is you've had a longer relationship with them, and this is partially how you got introduced to conservation. Can you tell us a little bit more about Glenn Miller?
I am originally from the Acres Home community. This is where I used to live for most of my life. And in Acres Home, they had a free community summer camp for kids and they wanted to introduce minority kids into agriculture. And because it was free, my parents was like, oh, this is perfect. The whole week, like camp for the kids. I can get rid of them for the summer for a week. So they sent me and my sister there. And at that camp, they basically talked to us about agriculture, conservation, wildlife management, how to fish a hook, how to go fishing, what conservation was and why it's so important. They talked to us about the reasons why we need more minorities in this field, because it is a field that is slowly decreasing because of more urbanization, but is very important because this is what humans need to live off of. We need agriculture, we need food, we need all the aspects that go into wildlife and wildlife management, and that this is a really good sector that you can use for scholarships, getting into college, and helping you get a nice career along in life. So when I heard this, it kind of piqued my interest. I was like, wow, this is something that I'm kind of interested in. I always like going outside. I love animals. I love doing I didn't know it was conservation at first, but I was into sustainability. That's what I knew about. When I did this when I was in the 9th grade, the summer of me going to my 9th grade, this was, I think, the summer before COVID. This was the summer before COVID. And when I was a part of this program, it opened my eyes into something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life, because I fell in love with this conservation aspect. I fell in love with agriculture, and it's something that I finally was able to kind of put the pieces together what I wanted to do. When back then, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I love animals. I would love to be a vet. But me now, I don't want to be a vet. So once I did that camp, one of the teachers, one of the mentors, they pulled me to the side and they were like, hey, you and your sister are very good kids. Y'all seem like you've piqued your interest in this. We want to give you some opportunities, some resources, so y'all can be more involved in this field if you guys are interested. And from then on, it kind of started being a little trickle effect into like all the things that played out in my life. That's where I kind of had the opportunity to go to Texas Brigades, and someone was able to pay for my tuition fee there. And me and my sister, that's where I started to dig more into conservation and being a naturalist and doing more sustainability aspects, maybe like hunting for sustainability or birds. That's where I learned. That's where I met a woman who was studying aviation, and she kind of opened my eyes to birds a little bit. I didn't get too passionate about it yet, but it was in the back of my mind like, wow, this is something very interesting that I might want to move on into later. So that's where it kind of started a little bit. And from then on, COVID happened, of course. So that happened. But from then on, I started to do a little bit of more schoolwork, and I wanted to introduce myself to like more sustainability clubs, sustainability videos on YouTube. I started to get interested in that. From then on, I worked with Glenn Miller. I did a presentation at their camp. I was an assistant leader there. I went to Texas Brigades. I was an assistant leader there. And I am now a summer staff there doing my internship right now. So that is very awesome for what I'm very grateful for. And after going through all of that, I decided I wanted to go to Texas A&M for bio and environmental science, which I am pursuing right now. And yeah, that's kind of like my introduction to sustainability and conservation, because although my family, they didn't know a lot about conservation and sustainability, I didn't really grow up in that type of environment. So I had to seek other people to teach me. I had to reach other resources to teach myself and my sister, so we can try and be better at sustainability and things like that. But that's kind of my passion and where it started. And from then on, I met that woman from birds and aviation. I was sitting down one day and I was like, what should I do my gold award on? Should I even do a gold award? And if I want to, what could it be that I feel so passionate about and so interested in that I want to love the people? And that's where that idea came from. I remembered that I like birds and that I kind of had a little geeky side for it. So I started doing more research and I met more people, and that's really where it started. And I'm so glad I started, because this is something that I would genuinely want to do for the rest of my life, and I'm in love with it.
What's a favorite memory from your project?
Several times when my mom and dad, they pull me to the side after each one of my presentations, and they would kiss me on the forehead and they would say, I'm very proud of you. You've done a wonderful job. You've exceeded me well when I was your age. And they would keep praising me with these wonderful compliments. And I would get a little emotional, but I would just feel so happy, because I feel like I'm doing something that I know I love, and I'm able to make my parents proud. I'm able to set a standard for my siblings. I'm able to set a standard for the kids who are probably my age or younger and who wants to be in the agriculture business, who might be people of color, but they're scared to. I'm so glad, because I've had many people come up to me being like, wow, I am impressed by the position you are in. I want to do something that you are doing. I want to be in that same position that you are. And when I hear those type of compliments, when I hear those type of sayings from kids my age or younger, people even older, I genuinely feel happy and proud. It's like, I feel very blessed to be in this position, because this is by far an opportunity of a lifetime. And I am so glad that I get to inspire other people my age. And I love helping out other people who are interested in this field, because I think it's so important to not just make a legacy for yourself, but to make a legacy for other people. Because if I was doing this only for myself, I'm going to be honest, I would have quit a long time ago. I don't have that much of a will for that. I do what I do, and I try and care myself in certain ways to make myself an example for other people, that they can do the same and even better. That's exactly what I do. I want to do what I do. I want to do my gold award. I want to do certain workshops, do videos, and do all that I do for other people as an example, so they can realize that they have the same opportunities, same resources. If they came from a background like me, they can do anything that they want.
In your videos, You have two little special guests. Can you give us the background on those special guests?
Yes, are you talking about my toucan and parrot? Yes. Okay, so their name is Tom and Jerry. They're like little figurines that I have in my little special guest on my video. They are so cute. I actually got them from my theater program's storage unit. They were cleaning it out one day, and I asked my teacher, like, hey, do you want these? And they're like, no, you can have it. So I made a little story about Tom and Jerry. So they're actually from the Amazon rainforest, and they caught a little ship from the Amazon rainforest to Texas. I don't know what type of ship. It's probably a cargo ship, or maybe like a little Royal Caribbean cruise or something. And it came from all the way to the Amazon forest to Texas. So yes, that was Tom and Jerry, and they are my little special helpers. Almost every single workshop that I did, they were there. So they are troopers from day one. They're in my room right now. I'm not in my room right now. I'm at my internship's house that they gave me. But I will definitely send a picture because they are still in my room on this little step pedestal where I put my Xbox and I taped them on there because they kept falling off. So that was Tom and Jerry. They're my day ones. They are absolutely the bomb, the best birds I have ever met, and they are a heck of a duo, if I do say so myself.
What other Girl Scout experiences have you had that you'd like to share with the audience?
I think it was my freshman year of high school. It was either my 8th grade going to my freshman year of high school. Me and my troop were trying to merge with another troop so we can go on a Costa Rica trip. And through this Costa Rica trip, I did a Halloween carousel for Girl Scouts online because this was during COVID. We had to cancel our trip until 2 years later because of COVID. So I did a Halloween carousel where we dressed up as little I dressed up as a superhero. And maybe I think my sister dressed up as a cat, and someone dressed up as like Frankenstein. It was very cute. And we had a lot of girls come on the Zoom call, and we did a big giant workshop. I think me and my sister, we were doing some type of craft to make like a little monster with little string or something like that. Someone else was making cutouts. We gave out stickers and bags and patches for these girls. And it was just an amazing fundraiser that we made so we can go to Costa Rica. And another one that we did was we did a fun run walkathon event. So it was also a fundraiser for our Costa Rica trip. And basically it was a virtual walkathon where you could walk from anywhere. And we were able to raise, in my opinion, this is amazing. We raised $200, which I was very proud of because it was my idea. And I was like, wow, I didn't think it was going to work, but it did. And I felt so happy. And I'm so happy I was able to do that with my troop. And we just made a little fundraiser so we can go to Costa Rica. And I am so happy that they were able to go. So, yes, that's just a little extra thing that I did in Girl Scouts. But other than that, the main thing I did in Girl Scouts growing up was I loved to go camping. I love to go horseback riding, archery, swimming, any type of go pit. Whenever we go to Camp Agnes Arnold, me and my Girl Scout troop, we go hard in the go ball pit. We just start playing everywhere. It's awesome. It's fun. But yeah, those are some of my experiences that I had with Girl Scouts. And right now, I am a highest award specialist after I got my Girl Scout Gold Award. So that is what I'm doing right now with Girl Scouts. And I'm able to see so many other girls. And this experience, I go to events with brownies and daisies to introduce them to Girl Scouts, do little workshops with them, do little patch workshops with them. And I am so honored, so blessed, and so happy that I'm still part of Girl Scouts because you have so many opportunities. There's so many opportunities. And that's just some things I've been doing with Girl Scouts over the years.
What else would you like to share with the audience?
I guess I'm going to give a little piece of advice for any girl who wants to do the Girl Scout Gold Award. I highly recommend you do it. It is an amazing opportunity. It is time consuming. It might be a little tiresome. You may question why you did this project in the first place, I will say. But once you remember why you started this, the reason you keep on going, it is so rewarding. It is so amazing. It's such an amazing experience as a girl in womanhood. You get to basically transition yourself from a girl to like a woman at that point. It's like you're transitioning at that point, like a caterpillar going into a butterfly. You really get to figure out who you are as a person, what type of leader you are, how you get to organize things. You were your own boss. And that's what I love about my Girl Scout Gold Award, that I was basically my own boss, an entrepreneur. And you get to let Girl Scouts help you out with that entrepreneuring business that you have. So my best advice is to reach for the stars. If you think that you might not be able to accomplish something to the level that you will, you can probably do even bigger. It's probably not going to be at the level that you think. It just might be even bigger and better, because you never know until you try. So I highly recommend that you have some spirit and do what you think you can do, because you can do anything that you think about.
How do you make your s'mores?
Now that's a question right there. This is an unpopular opinion, but let me tell you the specific way on how you make the best s'more. You have to get the marshmallow, put it on the stick. You need to burn it to a crisp. I like setting my stuff on fire. So you get the marshmallow, you put it on the fire, and you start twirling it around, and it's going to catch fire, basically. It's like a big fireball. I remember when I accidentally tossed it backwards and it like almost hit someone. It was terrible. But you let it catch fire till it's like charcoal black. And it's like you can touch it, and it's like crispy because it's charcoal black. And then you gotta make sure that you also like get the graham cracker and the actual chocolate piece. Put that on the fire a little bit too, just so like the chocolate's a little bit melty. You get your burnt marshmallow. You might think that because it's burnt, it's bad. It's delicious. It adds flavor. Okay, it's just over caramelized sugar. It's all good. So you put that on the little graham cracker and chocolate. You get your little graham cracker on top. If you want a double decker, I highly recommend you do another double decker. Just when you add the other graham cracker on top, don't add chocolate to the bottom. Just do another burnt marshmallow. Oh, it's perfect. It is perfect. That right there is a good s'more right there. Oh, that's good. You make me want some. Oh my gosh. But yes. Oh, you also got to make sure you do the squeeze, the little s'more squeeze, so all the marshmallow fluff can pop out. Oh yeah, it's very satisfying. Very satisfying.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I'm truly honored that you reached out to me. I'm truly honored to be on the show. Thank you so much. I love exactly what you do, interviewing people, because I think that is actually very nice for someone to like hear about what you do and your project and everything. So I really do appreciate this. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for that. Make sure to click follow or subscribe so you always know when new episodes are released. Power your passion and conquer your challenges.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to be on the show to share your story of how you earned your Gold Award, reach out and send an email to growandsshare@outlook.com. Be sure to catch up on our previous shows on any of your favorite podcasting platforms, as well as view the full video versions at youtube.com/Cheryl M. Robinson. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.